All right. Settle down. And I should have known better than to be eating my kids' Jolly Ranchers before starting a video. I had no idea my tongue would change colors, but these things are just so damn addictive. If you have missed me, like this video. If you want to see an unboxing of this tomorrow, hashtag whackpack in the comments and I'll make sure you do. I want to talk about Ashtons' new perfume brand. These are the submissions. He sent me some samples. This isn't final product, or at least I don't think so. I've got my scent of the day, Iris Torrefi, and 5 fragrance recommendations for the month of September. Now that the days are getting shorter, the nights are getting cooler, the mornings are crisp. I've put away all my freshies, thank goodness. And I pulled out my Woody Orientals. But Iris Torrefi, talked about this, it was last week, about the lack of vanilla in my wearing. There's definitely vanilla here. It shows up in the base. Not a very sweet vanilla, but it's more of a bland vanilla, I find. But there's this overwhelming notice of something orangey in here, something in the orange family, and it's possibly neroli or orange blossom that's supporting this iris. I get a lot of iris right throughout. Iris, that lipstick accord, that warm, waxy, balmy lipstick, and leather. The coffee disappears really quick. Somebody slurped this coffee and it's gone almost in an instant, but wonderful fragrance. I would have preferred it to be a little bit less starfishy, a little bit more complexity would have been nice, a little bit more evolution, but that's what it is. Other than that, I thought it was really nice. Nice and soft and subtle and boring, if I'm honest. So Ashtons brand, he did send me these. I can't say a whole lot because since he hasn't, I don't think it's fair for me to. I really want to talk more about YouTubers in general releasing their own perfume brands than Ashton, but there's one in here. I've sampled. He sent 12. I've sampled 8. One I'm absolutely in love with. It's totally my thing. Love it. And when the day is right, when the time is right, I'll talk about it. But the rest of this 7 are absolutely unique. I've never smelt anything like these. And I think that's kind of what he had planned, is to have all unique fragrances, things that don't remind you of anything else. And so far, so good. But really want to talk about the criticism that YouTubers are getting over releasing fragrance brands and not, I mean, I do understand where that's coming from. That's coming from a place of lack. And what I don't understand really is why a person releasing a brand with a YouTube channel is such a bothersome for you. And I would really lean into those feelings. I've heard comments like, what can a YouTuber bring new to perfume? What originality? What level of experience does he have? You know, what can they contribute? I think, you know what? Let's take Ashton for an example. A guy with 1,500 perfumes, maybe 2,000 now. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen his collection. Probably thousands more in samples, and on top of that, let's say thousands more that he smelled or tried. So there's a lot of experience there. He smelt a lot of things. He's amassed a massive following on his YouTube channel. You know, 100,000 people that trust his word, that trust his opinion on fragrances, that take his word on things that smell good, or his opinion. So he's obviously got some knowledge, and it's not hard to come up with a brief, a description, and hand it over to a trained professional perfumer. And these are all household name perfumers. You know, all these names are very recognizable. The perfumer finesses and finalizes everything up until the director says, all right, this is good enough. I like this. Let's release it. There's nothing tough. There's nothing hard about that. Anybody can do that with a little bit of knowledge on perfume. You don't need a degree. You don't need chemistry or biology or any of that bullshit. So I really don't see what the big deal is, other than your lack of support. And I know what that's like. I know what it's like to be unsupportive and critical and angry and pissed off. And it's easier to live on the other side, on this side, on the supporting side, instead of criticizing everything everyone else does. So I'd really look into those. I'd lean into those feelings and figure out why. Maybe it's more a reflection on you and feeling unworthy of releasing your own brand or doing something for yourself, which everybody's possible of doing. You know, he started off and YouTube just a couple of years ago, and this is the next step for him. This is a natural progression, and something he should be totally proud of for attaining and achieving. I don't think anybody would not trade places with him. I mean, it's absolutely an exciting time, and I don't know. There's just nothing for me to criticize about this. I'm in total support of anybody releasing their own perfume brand, especially if you're an enthusiast like the rest of us. But good luck to anybody. All right, so let's get into my 5 fragrance recommendations here. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They don't get a whole lot of talk. I've talked about some of these. Some of them I've never talked about. There's no hype. There's no, I don't know. There's just no fanfare. But let's get into this first one. And this is a women's perfume. This is from Bottega Veneta. And I would take this. I have a couple of Bottega Venetas from men, but I would take this over those 1,000 times. And I absolutely love this. This is Bottega Veneta EDP, which is a very soft, sensual, but bold perfume, I find. I think it takes a bold character to wear this. It's very leathery and spicy. And it's got earth tones. And I can tell you all the notes. And the notes really don't describe this. This is more, it's a feeling. There's a lot of textures in here and earth tones, colors. It's very spicy. I mean, there's a lot of that pink pepper in here that spices it up. But mostly it's a very warm, it's a warm perfume that almost feels like a cozy sweater or an embrace from a loved one. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I love this stuff. So it's spicy and leathery, and it's got a lot of warm tones, a little bit of patchouli, some green notes, but it's just really cozy and sensual is what I find it. And it's got, I don't want to say resins, but it's got some kind of texture to it, almost like a wool sweater or just something really warm and soft, but pleasant. I would love, if my partner were to wear this, I would love to smell it on somebody. It's kind of chic, but also confident. It's not bold and aggressive, but it's bold in its character. It's actually quite subtle and soft. It's not loud or obnoxious at all, but to me, it just screams confidence. I think a man can pull that off, no problem. Secondly, we've got, this is Habit Rouge dress code. And from what I know, dress code has been discontinued, sadly, unfortunately. This is a wonderful take on Habit Rouge, a flanker, which, it's got similarities to Habit Rouge, more so in its notes pyramid than actual structure. To me, this is it's got almost the character of Lidge, L'Instant de Guerlain. It's got a lot of texture and spices and nuances, but I definitely get that citrusy, rosy top that you find in in the regular EDT, but in here it's got Guerlain's almost signature anise accord. There's a lot of sweetness to this. This almost goes gourmand on me. A lot of anise. The vanilla is very sweet. But where Abbey Rouge is, it's almost like a fresh eau de cologne meets this warm, sensual, leathery vanilla. This has got much more depth. It's got a lot more character. The leather is much more nuanced. It's richer. It's deeper. It's darker. This is a very dark perfume. The leather reminds me of almost a new sports car interior. It's very smoky. Like the heart of this turns really smoky, and there's resins in here. And if you were to spray this up in the air and you had a sieve, and scoop the air, you'd collect a bunch of resins in that sieve. I have no doubt about it. Again, very warm and sensual. It's like Abbey Rouge, but just a much darker, refined, modernized version. Almost like a Abbey Rouge gourmand, I would call it. Sad to hear that it's been chopped, but this is kind of what we've come to expect from Guerlain. Here is, and I haven't heard much about this lately. This is Santal Majuscule, and I love this perfume as well. And this is their interpretation of sandalwood. And this is absolutely gorgeous. It's dry, it's dark, it's somewhat smoky. It's got rose and cacao. Not an earthy rose, it's more like a dry rose, and the cacao adds a lot of texture to this. Almost like powdery cacao, a little bit abrasive. The sandalwood to me is quite fruity. Not fruity sweet, but I don't know. I get a lot of coconut from this, like a really transparent, lightweight, effervescent coconut. Especially more towards the base. I love this perfume, and it wears great. Like, it's still kind of warm out, and I wore this recently, and in the heat it really shines. But I think it's more suitable towards the fall season than warm weather. Very woody. It's obviously got, vanillas and ambers, but to me it's mostly about sandalwood, warm, creamy, nuanced sandalwood. All right, the next, and I got to do this. I recently reviewed this, and I love it to death. This is Nuit de Faux, Louis Vuitton. I could have gone either Nuit de Faux or Ombre Nomade, the Rose Oud, but I prefer this much more. I like incense-based fragrances more than Rose Ouds, and this is a very woodsy incense, more so than a churchy liturgical incense. Very smoky, dry, leathery, and oudy, but I get a lot of pine from this, a lot of pine. And it's absolutely brilliant. I love it, and it goes a little bit dirty and fecal and animalic on me from that oud. And almost like blue cheese oud. But it's very green. It's almost like this fresh greenness, this fresh top green. And pine trees that have been set on fire. Pine trees that have been chopped down, stacked up, and just set ablaze. Very smoky, very piney. I thought I got a little bit of fruitiness from this, and it's just, I'm guessing mango. I don't know. It just feels like some kind of green fruit to add to the greenness, to colors and textures of this. But very balsamic. I really recommend that for crisper, cooler autumn days. All right, so this might come as a surprise to some of you, and I just recently got this, and there's a little bit of hype going on about this. Did I say earlier that I won't be doing anything that's hype? But I think this is a little bit hyped. And when I first tried this, I just got this at Maximum. I got a good laugh with Samir and Larry while I was picking this up. I was like, should I? Nah, I'm not going. I don't need any more perfume. And they're like, do it, get it. It's going to sell out now that we've opened up to the US. And they don't have, they never push me. They don't have that cheap salesman tactics, but just more as enthusiasts. They're like, yeah, I get it. You need it. And then they try to sell me on Hachivat, and I wore it, and I came home, and I got a fucking migraine. I was like, no, to Hachivat or Hasavat or whatever. But when I had first tried Annie at Maximum, I sprayed it on a blotter, and this is nothing. This is like so banal. It's nothing interesting. It's just like vanilla. And then I sprayed some on, and I was like, whoa, okay, this is completely different, and it's changed, it's not boring, and okay, it's predominantly vanilla, but there is a lot of pop to this on my skin, and that's what I loved. So this is my first Nishane. I've never owned anything, never unboxed anything from this. And so I put some on, and I went out. I went to a dinner party, and the conversation turned into my perfume. What are you wearing? Whatever you're wearing smells incredible. And, for a good 10 minutes, the subject was Annie. So it's basically, to me, so this is a postcard. All right, that's cool. Cool little packaging. And to me, it's basically vanilla, almost like a gourmand vanilla. But the pop to this is really good. I ran out of cards, so we'll use the postcard. So it's an oriental vanilla. I get the benzoins and the vanillas and the ambers, but in the opening I get some kind of orange family member, orange accord. Oh man, it's so good. Orange blossom. It's almost like an orange creamsicle mixed with that vanilla, and then it's very lightweight, it's very transparent, which I love. I'm sick to death of heavy perfumes that wear me like a rug or a backpack. I love weightless, transparent concoctions, and to me, this is very weightless. It's not heavy or dense or cloying at all. It's just very la 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 kind of thing. But it's just like an orange creamsicle. It's not very there might be some incense in here too, but it's a vanilla oriental. I mean, it's not the smartest thing in the world, but it works. Somehow it works. I didn't realize the perfume was green. I would have pictured more. Well, there is some green notes in here, but I get a lot of greens and yellows in here as well. Yellows and oranges. I get that orange. I get that creamsicle, that vanilla orange creamsicle is basically what I get. I was really surprised that I would like this as much as I did, especially from referencing it from a blotter. I didn't care for it all. And when I put some on my skin, I was like, wow, this is interesting. This is like, it's catchy. It's almost like I hate to say this, like a song on the top 40 that you'd find, like Watermelon Sugar or something stupid like that. But it works. It works. Anyway, there you go. 5 fragrances and a scent of the day and YouTuber brands. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment down below. Love reading your comments, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow with this unboxing. I'll leave it up to you guys. Thanks for watching.